Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Classic Who Zone. Hope you're all very well. I've had a nice little rest this week. Yesterday, or the day before, I should say, as I told you, there were the housing authority that we're under were doing apartment inspections. So literally, the night before, I didn't go to bed till fucking 6 or 7. Couldn't sleep. Got up at 12, had Ted out for a few hours. Myself and Cheryl then went for something to eat, and basically we didn't get much sleep. So when we did finally fall asleep, we slept all through the bloody day. Finally gotten myself back to some sort of normality. So yeah, that's why Cheryl hasn't done her review. She will have it done tomorrow. I don't know how she's going to squeeze it in, because I literally do a watch along tomorrow, and then I have the panel. But we'll see if we can get it squeezed in somewhere. But she will be still doing a review, just to let you know. I've sent emails to everybody that's joining us tonight. So I'm just waiting on the Queen Charlotte to pop in, but we've got our other two panelists waiting and eager to go. Unfortunately, we went live just as Ballstrek is going live with JXL, and obviously we all know the situation there. But Ballstrek has actually gone live with them now, so it'll be interesting to see later on how that stream goes. But I've sent a few words of encouragement to Ballstrek. At the end of the day, as I've said to him, you've done nothing wrong. Just go on, state your case, and see what happens. So I wish him luck with his stream that he's doing. Well, he's on his channel. It's just literally at the popping up that they're gone live. So let's hope it goes well, because he doesn't deserve all the hate that he's getting. So hopefully they can clear the air and sort things out, because this drama in the fandom needs to stop. And even this week, like, there's been little things going on in the fandom. It's just ridiculous. Look, if you enjoy this era, fantastic, right? If you don't enjoy this era, that's also fantastic. But what I've noticed is from both sides, like, there's people criticizing people. For example, I'm being criticized because I've been kind of fair with me. I think I've been fair with me analysis of the current season, and that's rubbed a few people up the wrong way that I know. And it's the same with the other side. People that are enjoying it, they're attacking those that don't enjoy it. It's just all ridiculous. You all need to stop and grow up. She goes after our specials, and then it's done. We got to move on from all of this now. You just can't be rehashing old arguments. It's not going to get you anywhere. This fandom is going to move on whether you like it or not, kicking and screaming, just like the show is going to move on whether you like it. And that's just the reality of the situation. But look, we'll leave it there because I don't want to get all bogged down, because tomorrow we'll have plenty of New Who. So come and join me tomorrow for the watch along. Should be interesting to say the least. Let's see what happens. But have to say just one more thing before we do start. The absolute clowns on Doctor Who social media. They're an absolute joke. Not only did they ruin the cliffhanger, right? But they're throwing up some weird fucking tweets the last week. And whoever is running these social media accounts, along with everybody that's already gone, they need to go as well. As I said, a complete clear out has to happen. Doctor Who magazine and also these social media accounts, they need to bring in new people that understand this show because they clearly don't. These people that are running these social media accounts, I wouldn't be surprised if they're 20-odd-year-olds throwing up stuff. You know, they even made a mistake with the Matt Smith scene and all of this. They're uneducated. They don't know anything about the history of the show, and these are people that are running the social medias. So they also need to be kicked out. The whole new era, new beginning, and I mean new beginning. That means everything cleared out, and let's start from fresh because, you know, if we have these same people running these accounts, they only deliberately put up stuff to rile the fans. They know what they're doing. This is all designed to get fans at each other's throats, and I'm sick and tired of it. They threw up a tweet today, and apparently they had to take it down. They put up what's that? The drag queen, drag race show, whatever the fuck, Rude Paul, whatever the fuck it is. I don't watch it, but they put up a tweet with a drag queen, start talking about, you know, how fat charisma and all of this other rubbish. Like, who's running these fucking social media accounts? And then they ended up having to take the tweet down. Like, have he's not learned his lesson over the last 5 years? He's going to keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Seriously, needs to be cleared out. I'm going to leave it there anyway. Let's see who's in the chat. We got Daniel, we got Dave, your Muslim uncle. Charlotte obviously is here as well. What am I actually doing here? My computer's gone all Noel's enemy. Daniel hid them. To be quite honest with you, I didn't really want you to hide them because, you know, let them go in. Do you know what? Just leave the feck. Unless they say anything nasty, remove them. But if they're not saying anything nasty, there's no point of removing them. I thought it was quite funny. They're trying to get a reaction out of me. Well, hello. Unknown 289 is also in the chat. We got Chris also in the chat. Right, let's get this show on the road because if I'm correct in saying, I think this is a 5-part. I don't know, 5 parts or something, or 4 parts. I haven't got a bleeding clue. I have it ready, set up to go. So let's bring on our guests. So let's do it. It's the one and only Queen Charlotte.
Hello, everybody.
We got Problem Being.
All right.
And we got Real Super Doctor.
Hey.
And as I said, Ballstrike won't be joining us this week, even though I did send him a link, but he informed me that he's actually streaming. So all 6 parts is it. Right, well, we'll have to see if we can. I don't think we're going to be able to get 6 parts done. We'll see how it
We'll do
goes.
3 or something.
We'll see how it goes anyway. See how it goes. Now, might do. Well, we'll see. I know some of you will be itching to go and watch the other stream, but that's the beauty about YouTube. Yeah, you can watch it later on. So we're going to focus here, and then I'm going to have a look at it myself when we're finished anyway. See how this goes. But as I said to Ballstrike, you know, you've done nothing wrong. Just state your case, you know. So some of these unfounded allegations made against you, just, you know, fight them. And I hope he does well. So let's give a special mention to him. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, right, I'm waffling now already.
Yes.
Okay. So obviously, this was the next story that was available, if I'm correct in saying. So, interesting one. I watched the start of it earlier on. I have to say, the practical effects are a bit shit. But other than that, it looks like a decent story. Actually, the animation for Galaxy 4 was shown today. Have to say, very impressed by the anime. Now, even though it was in color, I'd watch it in black and white, but very impressive. I have to say, they've stepped up their game for the Galaxy 4 animation. It looks pretty well, I have to say. Yeah, it'll be another release that I'm interested in and see how it goes. But yeah, that's everything. How's everybody?
Not bad.
Yeah,
A bit kind of chaotic, but you get there.
That's good. That's good. It's nice to hear. Nice to hear. If everybody in the chat is ready, you know what to do. I don't have to remind you. You know, press that one button.
Oh, and if the camera goes off and I mute myself, it could be because I'm coughing. Because I'm hoping that that I haven't got anything.
Oh, okay.
So don't panic. That's what it is. If I mute myself or the camera goes off as well as the mute, it's because I don't want you guys to hear me coughing.
No problem. No problem at all. No problem. No problem. Right, we got a couple of ones in the chat. We'll wait and see if there's any more. We'll wait until there's about 5 or 6 people in the chat, so we'll wait until we get a few more ones and then we'll get going. I better make sure now. I have this ready, but I haven't sitting there the last 40 minutes. So I'm just going to press play real quickly and just see will it play straight away. Yeah, okay. We're doing good. We're doing good. Right, we got 3 ones in the chat. I think we'll just go without further ado. Charlotte, whenever you're ready, please do the countdown.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
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 Absolutely love the Hell Round titles. I mean, it was absolute brainwave putting 2 cameras in a monitor and putting the camera at the monitor and a camera at the logo, and then feeding it through a vision mixer and getting the blending of the shapes. It's brilliant.
Like, you know, this is a fucking pond or something, or something. Why do you see the 3 little submarine things, right?
Yeah.
It looks so fake. But written by Terry Nation, folks.
Yeah, you didn't just write Daleks then. You wrote other things for Doctor Who.
Like Blake 7.
But I meant for Doctor Who, Lee.
Yeah. And Blake
that wee model TARDIS, I mean, it's all right for its time, but it's all right for telling the tale of the story. But
bearing in mind, you would have been watching this on the TV, like much smaller, you know.
Yeah,
and not as clear. You know, it would have been a lot grainier. Don't forget, you probably have a lot of static and lines and all sorts of.
Yeah. And don't forget, they didn't have an awful lot of money. They had to kind of use model shots and that to kind of do these kind of advanced kind of things for the time that there was.
They had to make do. I think that's what you get a lot, especially with Williams' era. It's like they were still learning. They were still sort of working out how they could reuse things and what they could get away with almost.
But actually, that is a wee kind of island surrounded by a sea of acid, and what's interesting is the Vord and the suits. It's a bit hilarious. The Vord and the suits were supposed to be kind of protected against this deadly acid. I mean, it's a good concept, right enough.
I've got to say, whose idea was it for Ian to wear this outfit? It was actually like something Ian would wear.
Well, it was his outfit from Marco Polo.
Oh,
because
right.
Marco Polo was the previous story.
Because I forgot that. I was watching it. I was like, well, everybody looks normal. That's what made it stand out also to me. Like everybody's got their normal outfits, and Ian's there with like an Oriental sort of very nice sort of top, and I was just like, he stands out a bit in this episode because of that.
This is like diver's gear and scuba gear. And, you know that the rubbery scuba gear that the.
Mm.
There he is complaining there's no birds around.
Yeah, no birds.
Oh, he's so happy.
Dear boy.
He's intrigued. You can see already from this point. He's like, "What on earth is this planet we're on?"
You can actually see the set. The background of the set has got a gap in it. You can.
Da, da, da.
I don't know what's up with people today, but I seem to be rubbing people up the wrong way.
That
I
never.
just have to tweet something and I'm rubbing someone up the wrong way. Like I'm baffled, man.
Do you know what it is?
It's not my fault if you don't like the facts, you know.
No, I've worked this out, mate. Every time the current run comes back, everybody goes crazy for different reasons.
Yeah.
I know. I've got some random person now just like tweeting me, quote tweeting me. Like it's. I'll just find it funny, man. I'll just find it funny.
Right, I found this a bit totally bizarre because Ian had gave her a pair of boots, his pair of boots to walk in the glass to get back to the TARDIS. I mean, it's a bit ridiculous because what's he going to walk on? Glass?
Right, though, he's still got his one. Oh, no, he literally did, yeah. I was going to say, it's not a spare pair, is it? It's literally his shoes.
I mean, the aliens know how to steal the TARDIS lock. I mean, it's a bit silly. I mean, you can see that in the Sensorites, that the Sensorites remove the TARDIS lock as well.
Seriously, I can't say nothing on Twitter anymore. Literally, it's fucking ridiculous. I just called someone, says, sorry, I'm busy. Right, someone tried to get smart with me and says, I says, my job was to critique the curtain there, right? And then they got smart, does it pay well? Says, yeah, it pays very well. Now I'm off now to host ClassicWhoZone on my channel. Like, leave it out. Apparently, I'm invalidating the people that love this era's opinions by trying.
No, they invalidate themselves. You don't need any. They don't need any help from you.
I know.
So,
Lee, do you talk Blake 7 in your sleep? I wouldn't be fucking surprised, Daniel. He probably dreams of fucking Blake 7. He probably pictures himself in fucking scenes with what's his name, Avon and fucking Blake, man, and fucking yeah. Don't you, Lee?
As everyone should.
I was going to say though, we all know he has dreams of his precious Paul. We all know that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I seem to dream about the TARDIS all the time. You just open the doors and it's just an empty box inside.
It's okay, Lee. A certain somebody, and I won't name who, on Twitter said, apparently I'm a stan. Wink,
You're
wink.
what?
My coat.
You're a stan.
Someone called you a stan.
Well, no. He might explain himself in the chat. But apparently, I'm a stan for Martin Compston.
Oh. Mm.
Well, I would have thought you were more of a stand of Matt Smith now, in fairness, because you do big up Matt Smith quite a lot, don't you? So,
I do, but it made me giggle. But he might explain himself in the chat. We'll see.
Is this a Line of Duty type?
Yeah.
Oh, we know who it is. We know who it is.
See, the fact I only know that is because of your standing.
By the way, myself and Lee, I forgot to tell you, actually, I might as well announce it now on the channel. Myself and Lee will be doing Matt Smith's latest movie as a watch-along. And I think Lee has organised a guest as well to come and join us. So we're doing that, what was it, last night in Soho, is that the name? Yeah. So we're going to do that because, so Charlotte, if you're around, because you're a Matt Smith fan, You can come and join us for
I don't
that.
think I'll have a way to watch it though.
Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's on that site. It's on that site. It's on that site. It's already there.
Oh,
Been there
really?
for over a week and a half, and it's HD, so it's a good copy.
Oh, what was it during the week though? During at night? Just tell me what night you're doing it, and I can tell you whether I can make it or not. Then.
Right, well, I haven't actually figured out the night. I have to find out when Lee can get that other person to join us. So, Lee, if you want to try sort that out tonight, so we can let Charlotte know tomorrow what night we can go on.
Yeah, but don't base it off me. If everybody else can do a night and I can't, just do it anyway.
All right, yeah, no problem. I just thought I'd ask you anyway. You being a Matt Smith fan, anyway, you know.
Yeah, no, I didn't know it was available. Let's put it that way, without giving too much away.
I would keep an eye on that site, the site that I'm talking about, because you don't know, because Ghostbusters might drop in it.
Apparently I support sex offenders now.
Oh, of course you do.
Yeah.
Just block them and move on.
No. Look. I will eventually, but I like fucking with these for a few minutes, like. You know, like if they're gonna come out with dumb comment, I'm entitled to actually respond, and then I mute the little feckers. You know, that's what I do now. And guess who's come back? Our favourite little troll has come back, Lee, as well.
Oh yeah, I saw that blocked immediately.
Yeah. I know. I blocked them as well, and I reported them to Twitter support. Like, that's the 10th or 11th account now I've blocked. Like, what's Twitter doing? They need to see. They talk about on social media. They talk about how they're going to clean it up, and stamp out on the racism and stuff. Well, why don't you also stamp out on all the trolling and all of these disgusting people that are putting people's mental health at risk? Like, come on, do you a bloody job?
Yes, Daniel, I do have a look at your Twitter now and again, so that's how I know.
Yes, it was Susan screaming again.
Yeah,
it's
screaming this a lot.
She does become this. You're starting to see the sort of unfair sort of criticism of the whole of Classic starting to creep in now, which is, the women just scream and get captured.
See, that's what the thing why they had introduced that to the female companion. They were just there to kind of scream, fall, faint, and collapse. It was just like the John Pertwee had said that he was he saw his doctor was like his cloak were like the wings of the mother hen, and it was like. The companion was strapped to a railway, and he was out there to save her.
Oh, he doesn't. If he was around nowadays, he wouldn't get away with saying that.
No.
But that's what I like about this team. Like, for all of Susan at times being the damsel, you have Barbara, who's who's nothing like that. She's very forthright and says her opinion. And even when she does sort of get in trouble, she gets herself out of it a lot of the time. So I think it works to have the sort of the younger Susan be like that, and then have the older Barbara who's a bit more mature.
See, the interesting thing about this is that the companions are getting into the Doctor's adventures, and that they're embracing it. They're really going for it now.
But they're starting to trust him as well now. You can see a lot of that trust starting with what obviously, who does Ian near the end choose to defend him? It's the Doctor.
Yeah.
It's the Doctor. And even the Doctor has a nice line, sort of saying like Ian's quite dependable. So even he's starting to show he's valuing them. They're not so much tag-alongs anymore. You're starting to see in this story.
And in the chase, that they want to depart. They want to go back to their own time. And the Doctor's really taken. He's really upset by it. In the beginning, he was like, "Oh, I will throw you off the ship," and all this sort of stuff. And they were just throwing themselves upon him. And the beginning, and in the end, you can see that he's really kind of. He's really kind of broken inside when they depart, and they want to use the Daleks' time machine to just go back home. And You know, it's like they've been like a kind of support team for him. They've been like company. They've been like it's I'm not going to say the word fam, but family.
Oh yeah, no, you can. This
In a way.
TARDIS team, we've had a few families on the TARDIS, and I definitely class this team as one of them. Because a lot of the time, Ian and Barbara almost do act like Susan's mum and dad, and like obviously the Doctor's the granddad. So it is a proper family setup in that way as well.
And I would have to say that this is the ultimate favourite companions for me, because they've got a lot of things to do in the series, and they basically they've been through quite a lot with the Daleks and Marco Polo and the Zarbi and all that, and every place that they've been to and travelled with, and it's a fight for survival, and they managed in the end to get back to the TARDIS, to hoping that they would get home, but
Right, I can hear someone's audio coming through.
yeah, I can hear something too.
It's just slight, but you could just turn it down a little bit. We got 16 people watching at the moment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Did you see Ian O'Brien's display that he threw up on Twitter? He threw a photograph up. He's been rearranging all his merchandise, and he has this glass case, and it's full of bloody figures. It looks so well, I have to say. I hope to get him on
them well.
I hope to get him on soon, because he did say it to me a few weeks ago, but he's been busy. So we'll try get him on, see if he's, he gives us an update on any new merch that's coming out. So hopefully we can get to see some of these pieces. Lee says Flux tomorrow night. Could do with a laugh. Well, we'll see. As I said, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Join me for the watch along anyway.
Your watch alongs to the end of this series are going to be so much fun. Just to see your reaction to whatever he does.
I've got a horrible feeling right now, but at the same time, like 2 episodes in, as we've said, it's an improvement of what he's given us over the last 2 years. We'll see what happens, but BBC have already shot themselves in the foot with next week's trade. Like, they basically ruined the cliffhanger because they're idiots.
Yeah. It'll be also interesting to see how Ian's he's got, whether he's got new characters from new sets from the B&M range.
Well, he gets them early, doesn't he? Usually, he reviews them early, so I wouldn't be surprised if he has them. Let's put it that way.
I mean, trying to get a B&M set months ago in Blackpool, there was absolutely nothing. And quite recently, last week, I managed to get a Hartnell set, the Sensorites.
Well, they're popular, aren't they? They make money.
Well, certainly the classic series is making the money now, because I'd noticed that they only had a few of them left, and they were in the corner, and they had like an RFID barcode on them. So the if you just went outside the door, outside the door of the shop with one of them, it went beep 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 beep. So I was I'm quite impressed with the Hartnell sculpt. It's quite like him.
Yeah, considering what does impress me is that, from my understanding, sometimes it's old bits of figures they like repurpose.
Yeah.
Some of these new ones actually new molds.
Yeah. Well, actually, they can mold the from the original figure, the body, the coat, and that, and they can do a new sculpt to the head. But the new sculpt to the head really looks like William Hartnell. It really does. And
That's what you want, isn't it?
For a cheap toy, well, for £20, I mean, back in the day, if you really wanted a kind of Hartnell figure, it would have cost you about £300, £200,
Oh,
and
God.
because I could remember that they had for very accurate figures, but I'm not talking about the Daypal stuff. The Daypal stuff was just the kind of basics toy stuff, and it was a basic kind of toy line that the David Boyle had created, because there wasn't any Doctor Who toys back in the day. But if you wanted a kind of detailed figure, even like a Dalek or a Cyberman, you would have to go to likes of Sevens models to get even a kind of miniature kind of model of a Dalek, and it would cost you over £200 to £300, and that's just for a small one.
Wow, I didn't know it was that expensive.
They were quite expensive, but they did articles in Doctor Who magazine. Like you could buy a model of the TARDIS or like that, and you would have to pay over a certain amount of months for a police box prop or a miniature. It would cost you around about £200 or that, or £299.
All right, I've just seen a tweet by Cheryl, text by Cheryl there in the chat. So yeah, she hasn't had the best of weeks.
Get better, Livy.
So it looks like she won't be doing the review until next week. Then, but she'll do the two of them. Yeah, it's just it's up to her to tell you what the story is, but let's just say she got very upset last night.
Well, it's always at your pace, love. So just do them whenever you're happy to do them.
It would be great if B&M had done the Unearthly Child set with the first Doctor, Ian, Susan, and Barbara all together.
But they never seem. I've noticed that they never seem to put companions like the traditional companions with their doctors.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think we've said this before. Like, they haven't done a set with the second Doctor and Jamie yet, have they? And that just boggles my mind. Like, how have you not done that set yet? Of any, because they'd stick any monster in with those two, you could do easy.
It's the weirdest thing that they've done. They've done Pertwee TARDIS variants with variants of different costumes, John Pertwee, and they sold that, and they've done a couple of Patrick Troughtons as well, which I've got one of Troughton's.
Oh yeah, but I think like for fans, they'd want the Doctor with the iconic companion.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they probably have done one. I'd be even more surprised if they haven't done a Tom Baker and Liz yet.
Yeah.
Because when you think of Fourth, you think of Sarah Jane.
Yeah.
Because every second Doctor, you think of Jamie.
Be funny if they did an Adric. How popular that would be.
More popular than yours.
Yeah, but that's not fair on Adric.
I like the colour of Adric's costume. I think it's very bright and
it's too bright for me though.
It'd be good as like a kind of action figure and all that. I don't think they would do a Tegan and a Nissa, but you never know what they might do in the future.
They seem to be very open, don't they? Doing what the fans want, at least. They seem to be one of the licenses that's really good with fans. It's the impression I get.
What I really want from character options is a TARDIS console.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
I think this is my favourite First Doctor's costume.
I was going to say, what's the difference though? I'm probably being daft there.
Oh, just the coat is sometimes different.
Okay.
I thought the coat kind of remained the same, the kind of rounded lapels. And...
God. Stop.
Not always does this way.
Stop. God. Stop. All right, so the thing started now.
Okay.
Ulstrick and Joe.
No, it popped up. They must have. I don't know what happened there. They either started the stream and then they just.
Yeah, it wasn't there. And then all of a sudden, magically, it's there. I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened there. That's weird, isn't it? Because it just popped up on my phone and computer again. I was like, but they've already went live. I don't know. All right. Anyway, let's get this going. If everybody in the chat is ready, remember as soon as I finish the episode, just press 1 so I don't have to keep saying it, and then we can get this show on the road. As I said, we've got 17 people watching at the moment. Like, share, and subscribe, please, folks. Right, we got a couple of wands. We'll see if we get a couple of more wands there. And then, yeah, we got another. Oh, we got 3 wands by Daniel. Daniel's very eager. Very eager to get this.
Yeah, let's get to the chap with the nice legs.
I'm trying to work. Oh, yes. Now I understand.
Legs 11. Legs 11. Anybody played bingo? Legs 11. It's probably all changed now. You're probably not allowed to say legs 11 anymore because someone was offended by it. So it's probably 2 wands 11 or some.
Well, what's the other one? 2 fat ladies. That wouldn't be allowed.
88 and 2 little ducks 22.
Number 9, Doctor's Orders.
Right, I think we're ready. So, go ahead, Charlotte.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh.
I always love the classic series because they make do of quite a lot of everything. I mean, they get things from other prop dealers and everything like that, and hire props and that.
Well, this almost. I wouldn't be surprised if they use some of the stuff from Marco Polo for this.
Yeah.
To have this setting right after that story, I wouldn't be surprised if they kept a few of the props and just used them to. Because it's a bit Romanesque, isn't it? Like the dresses.
Yeah.
Some of the like statues here.
Because I mean, they'll keep them for future episodes, like the Romans.
Because this is a nice little mystery when you just sort of like, at this point, where on earth are they now? Like, this just doesn't fit. It almost feels like you're watching a different episode. I mean, a different story, sorry, now.
Yeah.
This is a nice little mystery until it starts to slowly get like revealed what's actually going on.
Remember, Doctor Who is 58 on Tuesday.
Oh, it's Tuesday, yes, of course. Oh, we'll see what stupidity they do on Twitter that day then.
They'll do something. I wouldn't be
They'll do
surprised
something
if they
stupid.
do something in this week's episode. The kind of, Yeah, he has the desire for knowledge.
It's still a desire though. It's different, but it shows. Actually, this is a nice way to show the Doctor's difference of interest. That like with the girls, it's sort of been the dresses and the silk. Ian, you sort of don't get his yet, but it shows that the Doctor won't be sort of. It's not material things in that sense. It's more knowledge, like you said. That is his temptation.
Ooh. It's the truffles, you idiots. He's poisoned them.
And the whole mind scrambling when they went in, which is what I guess that effect was supposed to be, like the start of the hypnosis.
Well, it doesn't fool Ian. That's what's interesting, because he knows exactly there's something up. Because I mean, you don't get all that for nothing, and it's good that Ian's suspicions is like he's just seeing it for what it is, and it's good that he's quite resistant against it.
When also, if you think about what his job is, he's a science teacher.
Yeah.
So that you would think by process of what his job is, he'd be quite rational minded.
And he was quite capable of seeing through the First Doctor anyway, and inside the spaceship.
Ooh.
And I'm not gonna lie, watching this, I was a bit like, your plan is to put something on their forehead. Like, people move in their sleep. People toss and turn in their sleep.
Maybe it just sticks somehow.
Yeah, it's like you're relying on them not to do anything all night.
Maybe it's the way they've been knocked out. That they just,
maybe.
Move.
Because I can never sleep on my back.
Me neither. Absolutely not. I can only sleep on my left side. If I sleep on my right side, I get like heartburn, and I find like in the middle of the night, I've been on my right side, so I'm like, oh my god.
See, I just go from one to the other.
It's when you're lying in your back and then a muscle goes and that, and ow. It gets worse when you get older. She's breaking through the conditioning.
Sort of reminds me of old fairy tales when they're like, don't eat the food of any creature or like anything that you come across because it's gonna like. I think that's the thing with fairies and like old folklore. Like you don't take any food off them.
I mean, it should have raised the Doctor's suspicions straight away. I mean, what we get here is that the companions, except Ian, he's the one that's clued onto everything like that. And they put Barbara into some sort of coma.
Is that real, that photograph? Birthday cake mayonnaise from
Yes, I know. What the fuck?
That can't be real.
See, I like my mayonnaise, but even I'm thinking, what?
I like. Well, before I boycotted Ben and Jerry's, I did a really nice birthday cake ice cream. Oh my god!
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, brownie. I like the brownie ones of that.
Like, I have to be honest, right? When Hellman's brought out a mayonnaise, I was a bit skeptical because everybody, because everybody kind of eats Hellman's, you know. So Cheryl got me a jar of it, and I tell you one, I don't give a shit, Andy, but it's better than Hellman's mayonnaise. It's probably the best mayonnaise out there. I'm addicted to it. She keeps buying me fucking Hellman's mayonnaise now. Oh, not Hellman's, Heinz. She gets the Hellman's for herself.
So I love this shot.
I love the Heinz.
Now Barbara's waking up from it, and the Chesterton's back, and the...
Yeah, no, I love the camera work here because when it's from their perspective, you see all the fake nicety, and when it's just from Barbara's viewpoint, you see the what it is, and it's such a clever way to portray it without. I think what I like about it is it's not telling you explicitly with the dialogue. It's all in the camera work that it's saying this is one's reality, one's not one's like a trying to think the word for it. One's real, one's fake. And like Barbara holding up the dress, and from this viewpoint, it's tatters. But she's saying, "Look, it's this lovely silk dress they've done for me." Also, Barbara, is this like the third time she's saying something right, and they've just all ignored her at this point?
Yeah. But hey, no strong female characters.
No, none at all. Oh, there's your boyfriend, Lee.
I know.
So even this is a bit spooky. Like the closer it's getting to his face.
Yeah, right.
It's a bit like something from almost like a Kubrick, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like a kind of pet collar around his neck and the pet tags.
It reminds me of Julian Clary a little bit.
Yeah, I can see where you can.
$58 years old. What the hell? And now look at it. It's sad though, isn't it? Like I want it's great that it's gotten to the 58th year, but when you look at the current state of the show,
and mate, I think we're on the precipice now. We're not seeing. We're literally on the precipice. I think of what he's going to do, and how low the viewing figures will get.
Yeah,
I predicted overnight it's a 3.2. We'll see. I mean, it might have a pickup. We just don't know.
No, but it didn't get a pickup from that first episode, and everybody was like saying it was really good, that first episode.
Yeah, the overnights for the Santarin episode were disappointing. It'll be interesting to see now. Will the 7-day consolidated figures also have the same trend? Will the overnight or the 7? Oh, yeah. Will the 7-day consolidated figures also be down as well as the overnights? Very interesting.
I think so.
Will be.
Not by loads. I don't think it's going to be a dramatic drop off like we got in the overnight.
I think it'll be a steady decline this time. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think so.
We could be wrong though. We'll see. We'll know soon enough. We'll know on Monday.
Yeah, we'll know both, won't we? Yeah.
We'll know Monday what the consolidated are, and then I think on Tuesday then we find out what the AI is. They always delay the AI an extra day.
So. I reckon the ratings will pick up because they'll be wanting to see who the next Doctor is, but they're not going to see the next Doctor in the regeneration. They're going to see Jodie regenerating, but
yeah, we're not going to get a face afterwards.
We'll see what happens anyway. We're going to be halfway through tomorrow.
Yeah.
Here for a curveball.
Yeah, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen tomorrow. I have no doubt.
No, I think he's going to do his big ta-da because in Doctor Who magazine, I saw what you put up, Noel, and I was like, you're such an Chibnall. I was like, you're such an idiot. Because he's literally talking about having to take risks.
Yeah.
So
you tried that for 2 years, mate.
So I'm like, so that's telling us you've done something stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like I've been fearless. I've been fearless in me right, and I read that myself.
Taking risks.
There's fearless, and then there's stupid.
Yeah. So I basically I don't give a shit. I'll do what I want. Was my response to it.
Yeah. So no, but that's basically telling us that he's going to do something really stupid.
I told you.
Oh, I knew it was going to happen. That's why. I think we might get a bit of a hint on Sunday, and then we'll get the full reveal of look at what I've done on this episode 6.
We'll see. We'll see. If he has any common sense, he'll.
No, well, he doesn't.
Yeah, Chibnall and common sense in the same sentence.
Yeah, it doesn't quite.
No.
Work, does it?
It's mine, my precious.
Chibnall reminds me of that meme with the man with the wig on, and he turns around and there's a big close up at him. He's sitting at the computer.
I just think it's all ego. It just, like I said, I obviously I've not seen the full interview in Doctor Who magazine, but I saw what you put up, and I was just like, can we get a more like idiotic idiot, like just completely unaware of what he's done, and he's going to do more of it. It's just like, ugh.
He clearly doesn't care because he basically said that while he's in charge, he'll do whatever the feck he wants.
Yep, but he'll get all.
So will we.
But his poor Fifi's will get hurt when he gets replaced by Russell. That's how much convictions he's got, though. That's what that tells me. He's the big guy on while he's in charge, but as soon as somebody else comes along and he's not happy about it, he throws his dummy out. And now we have brains with eyes on them.
The one that failed is.
So are
That
these,
is your responsibility.
so is my understanding is these were like people once upon a time, and now they're brains with like little antennae and eyes. Also, this is me nitpicking, but how does he not realise she's there? She's like this far away from him.
Oh dear.
And sleepy time now.
It reminds me of the Dalek set in Scarrow that's been
It is a bit
redressed.
similar, isn't it? They probably did
Yeah.
make. They probably used a bit of that set or redressed it, like you were saying.
I do like the brains in the tank. I think that's quite good.
It's a good image, isn't it?
I know why the stream came up twice, Lee. Because Ballstrek is also live.
No, it wasn't that. It was the first one I saw was private, and then it disappeared and there was nothing. Then all of a sudden, both appeared. I don't know. I looked.
So both channels are streaming at the
Yeah, I
same
know
time.
that. Yeah. Well, someone was on Jay's commenting. Oh, Jay's got like 300 people watching. Bellstreet's only got like 80. Yeah, but I mean, if you look at how many subscribers Chris has
but
compared
Ballstrek
to
doesn't
Jay.
do live streams normally, so that's why.
Yeah, and not only that, it's just like if you look at the proportionality, like it's a fair.
I've kind of had a bit of a look
number
to see if there's any
per capita.
how it's going. It seems to be pretty civil right now. I hope they can work it out anyway, to be quite honest with you, because it's all bullshit at the end of the day.
Yeah, it'd be better for everybody if they can clear the air.
But let's not forget that this was egged on by other people, right? And this is the result. These two were at loggerheads, but it was egged on by different people in the fandom.
It's actually when that last stream happened, I said, well, why didn't if you were interested in what Bolstrak was saying and you didn't understand what he was saying, rather than assuming, why don't you ask him? I mean, why? If you want clarification, you ask him.
Exactly, you bring
and this is the result now that they're doing the stream. So
yeah,
that's something.
So hope it works out.
Well,
or there's some common ground at least, or you can understand where Ballstrek is coming from, and I think that's all. Probably Ballstrek wants to see where he's coming from. He doesn't necessarily have to agree with him, but once he understands where he's coming from, I think that's the start.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I mean, you're claiming to give him a fair shake, but you don't actually ask him
exactly
what he means.
Exactly. That's what I didn't like about the title of that stream either. Yourself, Like you give someone a fair shake by bringing them on and letting them, giving them the opportunity to defend themselves.
Apparently, there's some audio issues on their stream.
Yeah, dude, he's fixed it now. I love the way he's talking.
I know. I do love the Doctor and Susan when they do give them little moments. Because you do see the softer side. You do genuinely see the softer side of the first Doctor.
Listen, Susan has her good moments in the series. I'm not going to say she doesn't, but I prefer when she's less screamy.
Oh, yeah.
It became a bit of a trope, didn't it, after a while?
Off you go.
Off you go. Yes, well, she's a typical teenager, wanders off.
Well, I can say that's just the rule. After like this adventure, they should have just all said to each other, "We just can't let Susan wander off.
No.
She always gets in trouble."
Yeah.
Just somebody be with her all times, please.
Screaming again now. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like she either gets captured, she comes across a monster, or something. Just we need to like super glue her to almost to one of us at this point.
Right, let's keep this moving. Press 1 in the chat if you're ready. Just forget about the ending titles and just let me know. Press 1 so we can get straight into it. We might actually get all these parts done if we move on. So press 1 in the chat and we'll get going. Kiss me arse.
Diddly dum, diddly dum, diddly dum. Wow.
Kiss me arse. I love my family, I do. It's great. Yeah, right.
I remember being at the Arts Club in London after, because I used to work in the West End, and the end of the show that I was working on, which was Prisoner Sublocate, the musical with Lily Savage, ended. And by the time we cleaned into the theatre and left and got to the Arts Club afterwards, Paul O'Grady was standing by the piano singing songs. He was singing Que Sera, Sera. He changed the lyrics to "Kiss my ass, whatever."
Like Paul O'Grady.
I love Paul O'Grady.
I do.
He did
such a lovely guy
for a while as well, actually, and he wasn't a bad host on Blankety Blank. And then
he was brilliant.
Yeah, he was brilliant on Blankety Blank. I have to say, I am loving Bradley Walsh on Blankety Blank now, but I
only watched one, and I was like, it's not the same.
It isn't, because the questions are not as clever as they used to be. That was the whole point of it.
Well, it was more like tongue in cheek, a bit rude,
Exactly. It's like as if they've toned it down because some person out there might get offended or something. Right, anyway, we got ones in the chat. So without further ado, we'll let the Queen do the countdown.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Go. Go, Power Rangers.
Have you been on the sugar again?
How on earth have you got Power Rangers from that?
I don't know, but do you know what? I loved those movies back in the day. I know they get a bit of criticism, but I actually loved the Power Rangers movies back in the day.
Oh no, the movies were bad. At least the show was like cheesy, good, bad.
But after my time, really.
Oh, growing up, that was my childhood. Obviously, not the original, but the later ones. That was my childhood. Power Rangers.
By the way, 4 days time. 4 days time. I think it's 4 days time. Ghostbusters Afterlife officially releases.
And it's been getting really good reviews, hasn't it?
It's been getting great reviews, but they dropped the last international trailer, and right at the end of the trailer, they tease the old
guys.
Oh my god, I got goosebumps! I nearly cried. Can't wait. Can't wait. And this is one movie that I'm actually positive about and actually do believe that it's going to do well. And they've done it justice because of what I've been heard. And see, when critics come out and say this is absolutely brilliant and stuff like that, you worry. But when they come out and say stuff like, yeah, this movie will obviously appeal to old and new Ghostbusters fans. That's the type of comment that makes me think, yeah, this movie is gonna be great. I really can't wait for it. I'm like a little kid at Christmas. They should have shot it at Christmas, actually.
Well, it's because they've kept it in the family, haven't they? Because is it the original director's son?
Yeah,
Jason. Yeah. So I think when you get family members involved, they actually care about legacy. They actually care about what's gone before, so they're going to treat it with respect.
Funny thing is, a few years back, he said he'd have nothing to do with his father's franchise, and then obviously the opportunity came along, and
I really think I'll let you go, Charlotte.
I'd say it's not just the opportunity. He probably saw what they did with it, with that terrible 2016 version, and was like, do you know what? I'll come back. A bit like Russell's doing, right? We've all said Russell's basically come back because he knows how much of a mess the show's in. I've got a feeling Jason probably had a similar viewpoint.
Try between Chibnall's ears. Aye. I say hit it with a rock, that'll kill it.
I love Barbara's response though, in a minute when she's like, oh no, of course that's silly. Of course the plants wouldn't move, and it's like, you've seen Daleks.
She's really like a child, Susan, the way she cries and that and goes on.
But it just made me laugh. Like Barbara's like, of course, you silly girl, like plants wouldn't move. And I'm like, you've seen Daleks, you just saw brains with eyes on.
I just don't understand how she can be from Gallifrey and yet so completely human. You know, like really human.
Well, I've always had the impression, and the more I've watched of Susan, is she didn't spend a lot of time on Gallifrey. Like she got basically the Doctor almost raised her either on the TARDIS or on Earth. Because you're right, she doesn't come across as anything like from Gallifrey.
See, I think the Doctor was even before he completely ran away from the Time Lords, he was going for wee TARDIS trips as well, sneaking off with a TARDIS and going about the universe and showing Susan the wonders of the universe and then coming back to Gallifrey. I think he was doing that until he finally decided to leave Gallifrey for good.
I don't know. I get the impression it was like right, well, you know, this TARDIS is being maltreated and we've got to save it and we've got to run now. You know, I see it as like one event.
Or I say that the Doctor is really a human being and he was an old senile old grandfather that stumbled on the technology and that somehow changed his mind and made him a Time Lord and gave him all these memories of being a Time Lord and that. And he's lost. He doesn't know who he is afterwards.
No, for me, his absolute disgust of the Time Lords later on could only come from one of their own, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can
Oh,
tell.
Jesus Christ, woman. All he has is his hands around your backside and you're screaming like something, you're being stabbed or something. Sorry, Charlotte, I just had to say something there because that was funny. A lot of people have been very unwell over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling very well.
I wish it's all well because it does seem to be the season of everybody getting bleeding sick.
Oh, and without going into details, my job basically means there's a good chance I'm going to get sick.
I know, yeah, you're exposed.
Without saying what it is, that's so.
It's just a lot of people are getting the cold now because this is cold and flu season now.
Yeah,
well, yeah, and even
some countries though already have decided that they're going to do lockdown over Christmas again. I hope it doesn't happen in Ireland and the UK because I cannot do another Christmas lockdown. No way, man. No way.
I don't think I could survive it.
If I wanted to go for a walk after me dinner and stuff like that, I should be allowed to do that. This is all getting ridiculous. Whether you're for the vaccine or against the vaccine, that argument has gone out the window now. As far as I'm concerned.
It really has.
This is about people's fucking freedom here. Some student got arrested in fucking America. Did you see that? Oh, in Canada, not one of the fucking students, as he was getting the handcuffs put on him, would open their mouth or stand up and defend the lad. Is this kind of society that we're going to have now? Like the Gestapo taking
it's just what's the Stasi. It's like turning neighbor against neighbor. And
I know.
In Germany, there was someone scrawled on the wall, "Gas the anti-vaxxers" or something. Like, really?
It's absolutely ridiculous. But again, as I said, that whole vaccine argument has gone out the window. It's not about that anymore now. It's about our freedoms. And who the hell do these politicians... And you know what? See, this is the thing. This is why people are so against it. They see the politicians go to all these parties and these fancy dinners. They're not wearing masks. They're not social distancing. But yet they're enforcing all those rules and laws on us, like. Well, practice what you preach, you fucking morons, and then maybe people will start listening to you. That's the point. But they're not going to listen because they're not setting the example. So no, feck all, I'm not going down and lockdown again. If I have to get arrested, I don't give a shit, man.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I just don't want to go through this again because it was a bit of a nightmare and that, and it's putting a lot of stress in me.
In fairness, I thought it was a necessary evil at the time when we first went into lockdown because we didn't know what we were dealing with. But now that we have a better handle on the situation, look, it doesn't make sense. They're letting people in football stadiums, right? Yeah, you get married and you're only allowed a handful of people at your fucking... None of this makes sense. None of this makes sense.
And then, you got all these elites like, Prince Charles and Biden and all this, going to the G20 and all that, and you see them all there with the mask on, and then it's like as soon as they feel unguarded, they just take them off, and they're just sort of mingling like normal. It's just such a do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah,
and it's all they're posing for photographs with their elbows touching each other's elbows, like not handshaking. It's just bullshit for the camera.
Being honest, I think society is hitting a critical point now. The next few months is going to be very interesting. It could go either way. Look at Australia. We could all end up being like Australia. That whole country is like a prison.
Yeah. But look at France. France is not standing for it. I mean, there are a lot of protests going on in that. But
France isn't. The Italians aren't. And the Italians have more to be worried about because they've got an aging population. But they've had enough as well. You can't stop. I'm sorry, but look. Fair enough. People might think the virus out there is bad, right? We've seen people have died from it, but you can't stop people from living their lives. It's their choice what they want to do with their bodies. It's funny to me, right? It's like, and I'm just bringing this up as an example. So, you have women out there, my body, my choice when it comes to abortion. Yeah. But when it comes to this vaccine, it's your body, but you have no choice.
Yeah.
So where's the logic?
And bearing in mind that this COVID thing has now been going on longer than the Spanish flu, which killed millions of people, millions.
I know.
And without half the hysteria that surrounded this, for me, that is unconscionable. I mean, it's completely an overreaction. The Spanish flu literally killed millions of people.
Yeah, and that was a real thing to be
and that was over
really
a couple of years.
aware
and
of.
then then they got a handle on it. But this has been going on longer, and it's not even scratched the surface of those numbers.
No. Well, look, let's leave it there before we get ourselves into we say the wrong thing.
Well, at least you won't have any dislikes because they're going to remove that button. So.
Oh yes.
Ridiculous.
Which I'm against, I have to say.
Yeah.
Because look, I don't like a dislike on my video. What YouTube content creator does, but this isn't for to protect content creators.
No, protect Disney's been ratioed to fuck.
Yeah, censorship.
And all of these others when fans fucking dislike a trailer. That's what they're doing it for. They're protecting the big companies, and it's absolutely disgraceful. I keep the dislike button is what I say. So used to getting dislikes now, it doesn't bother me anymore. You know what I mean? It's part of the fucking app. People either like your opinion or they dislike your opinion. If you start taking that away from people, that's wrong, just to protect big businesses because they've got their nose out of joint because fans don't like the product that they're throwing out. Well, make better product then.
Pretty much.
Or like I say, just it's because it's only dislikes. It's so see-through. If they were clever about this, which YouTube are never clever, so I'm not surprised. You would have just taken both of them off, like and dislike, and then we couldn't say, "Oh, look at what you're doing," but because it's literally just a dislike, it's so obvious.
To the content creator, if the content creator wants to show the likes and the dislikes, leave it to them to show it. YouTube shouldn't be going over our heads. I think YouTube have forgotten who created and who made them big, which is small content creators out there, right? So they want to get a grip. Leave it to us. If I choose to show the like and dislike button, it should be left to me. I'm the content creator. It's my channel. I should get to decide, not YouTube get to decide for me.
Because I mean, if they're really considering people's mental health, which is obviously bollocks,
I just laugh.
Hiding the dislikes publicly is not going to change the fact that they'll see it privately.
And also the comment sections.
So now people in the comment section are just going to write dislike. I mean, apart from that, I suppose what's left for people to do is to see the ratio of how many plays and how many likes it has. If it doesn't have as many likes, then you can assume that it would have more dislikes. So I guess you just have to use a bit more of your consciousness to figure it out.
People don't like to do that, Lee. That's what they're banking on. Like they're making it harder because some people just don't like to. We like.
You start messing with the interaction. You're taking away part of the community feel. Yeah.
But like I said, it's to protect the companies. It's like to protect also the BBC because a lot of people brought up the dislike on the Timeless Child reveal video.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't be surprised if maybe the BBC have said something to them because
no doubt it's all it's a cabal, it's all of these corporations acting in unison to get what they want,
And
it's
supposed
to be YouTube, not corporate tube.
It's like they don't want the feedback. They want to do these things to franchises. They want to show their virtue. But
because these corporations are overtaken by a bunch of skin deep people. Frankly.
It's dead, I tell you. It's dead.
So there's a lot of old blokes getting killed off in this story.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe Chibnall went back in time and co-wrote it. It's a bit like Cat Weasel.
Yeah, it doesn't. It does, Daniel. It doesn't matter how small or big you are on YouTube. They just seem to want to screw over the people that actually made that app and shill for the big companies. You know, because the big companies got their nose out of joint. Oh, YouTube, can you sort out? Because people are disliking our trailers, and you know it's it's unjustified. Hey, these people don't know what's good for them. They don't know that the content that we're giving out, that they need it and they must watch it. Yeah, whatever. Right? If you give us actually something decent, people wouldn't be going in and disliking your trailers or disliking the shite that just come out with. Simple as that. So like when
they don't seem to give a shit about small content creators when it comes to, I don't know, making their subscriber count like consistent, maybe.
Yeah. But not only that, there was an article last year, and YouTube was considering. Now I don't know if there was a backlash to it and why there's nothing being brought up about it since. But they actually came out with a whole thing where they were going to be getting rid of smaller channels if they weren't making enough money in their eyes. Because you know they're more driven towards like, you know, how much money you can actually make YouTube instead of actually caring about like they go on about how they support content creators and how they love different content that goes out there, but yeah, at the same time they're like contradicting themselves by saying, well, if you don't make enough money on your channel, because I covered that on this channel last year.
I remember you were
panicking. Pretty scared. I was like, well, I'm fucked because I don't make YouTube enough money, so that's my channel gone. How dare they even come up with something like that? They forget who made their app. And that's Susan, the head of YouTube. She needs to get our head out of our backside and actually see what's going on with the app. It's disgraceful if you ask me. People keep telling me to join all these other sites like Minds and Odyssey. No, because YouTube, whether you like it or not, is far more superior than those. And those other platforms are not going to last. They never do. They never do. So, like,
yeah, but we said the same about MySpace, and then they fucked that to the point was unusable. So it really does depend.
There will come a time when either something will manage to get off the ground enough.
Yeah, nothing's forever.
Will just be.
I agree, but YouTube is so established like Facebook and Twitter that, you know, other companies now are doing other social media platforms. They're never going to gain traction because I know a lot of people give out about the main ones, but at the end of the day, they're established and it's going to be very hard to kind of remove them from the top, as they say.
You said nothing lasts forever. Everything will have its time. It just depends on how long that is.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, YouTube keep putting bloody adverts, so you can't skip past every fucking minute or so. It drives me up the wall, and that's only when I'm on the app. You can block that on the computer, but like when you're on your iPad and stuff, and you're trying to watch something before you go to sleep or something, it's just a nightmare.
So is there a Spider-Man trailer dropping soon or something? Because people are saying, like, if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are not in it. And why is The Exorcist trending? The Exorcist is trending. Why is The Exorcist trending? Let me see. Did someone get offended by the crucifix?
You would have thought they would have been more offended by the spinning head of a child. If it, of all the things to be offended in that movie, you would have thought that would have been the.
Oh, the spider walk. The spider walk where Reagan comes down the stairs. It's only in certain cuts. But I remember getting the director's cut, and I had the spider walk in it. My God, man, that scene is just so bloody scary to look at. It's one that, look, I always said it. For me, The Exorcist is the pinnacle of all horrors. It's the best horror ever made. Best sci-fi horror is obviously Alien, but for an all-out horror, The Exorcist for me is up there and can't be touched.
First time I saw Exorcist, I think I couldn't stop laughing, quite honestly. Like, it's of its day and everything, but
1970.
I think as well, I was kind of, it was ruined for me because obviously I watched like the French and Saunders spoof first.
Oh God, that would ruin it.
So the cultural references were there already.
Like, I mean, the director was a bit of a prick. You know the part where the priest falls down all the steps and the priest is giving him the last rites and he's handing all the shaking and he looks in bits? That's because the director boxed him in the face. So
there's a lot. I watched the documentary on it. It's really, really interesting. It's
yeah,
completely messed up. Like, and I think the actress who did the voice for the possessed girl was like,
she was an old woman.
She was kind of put in a room by herself, and she was making herself sort of tortured. You know, like I think she'd smoked and drunk or something, and she was just like, I think she was probably possessed herself.
Not only that, he put them in a freezer so they could do the priest and the Reagan and the other priest. He put them literally in a freezer so he could get the condensation coming out of their mouth to show that, like, the temperature. Like, he really did.
Crazy.
The practical effects where Reagan's on the bed and it's jumping up and down. She was literally on that bed and there was people behind you on a wall lifting that bed up and shaking it really violently. Like the practical effects and all this director was a psychopath, but it's one of the best, I just swear.
And he got the results. You know?
He did. Right, everybody in the chat, you know what to do.
Yep.
Come on, we're nearly getting there. We might actually get this finished, believe it or not. I'm actually enjoying this now. I normally go a bit, after the third or fourth, I'm like, oh, hurry up, finish up. But I'm actually enjoying this one. So
well, this story is like so
it's all over the place. Isn't
yeah,
it?
but it works. That's what's crazy about it.
Yeah.
Right, we got the ones. Charlotte, you know what to do.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Go. Dum 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 dum
Actually, we will get it finished, I reckon. So, just about. Sunshine on a rainy day.
I like that. Whoa.
You can see it's fake snow. It's the blanket they're under.
Oh, the animal rights activists are giving out about I'm a celebrity, get me out of here again.
It's not even been on telly yet. What? How can they give out?
Well, they give out because they don't like the way the bugs and all are treated every year because they're morons.
Yeah, but that's no. But my point is, they haven't even started showing the show yet.
I know it's on next week or something. Starts next week. I'll be watching that. That's the only reality TV show that I actually watch because it's always good to see a C-list celebrity who thinks they're bigger than they are being put in their place and made eat bugs and awful stuff. I love that. I don't know. I haven't.
Why don't just do I'm a Celebrity, torture the shit out of me? That would be much more interesting. I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Well, some of the older ones, they look like they were getting close to some people. It's a lot tamer nowadays.
Yeah. This is the first time that I actually haven't seen who's going to be in it this year because I don't want to spoil it. I just want to watch and see who they bring on. So this is actually the first time that I don't know who's going to be on it, and I'm excited to see who they do have on it. But I always love the first episode because they always make them do something crazy, either jump out of a helicopter or something like that.
Yeah, and they all look glammed up for that first episode, and then the next day afterwards, especially the women, like the product is gone from the hair. They haven't got the makeup on, and it's like, oh God, that's what you look like without.
And it's back in Wales again. It's back in that Welsh castle again. They still can't go to Australia, obviously, which is a shame because, even though the Welsh one, it was different and it felt fresh again because it was getting a bit, it's been in the jungle now for so long. How
about shove them in the desert? That'll be more fun.
I don't know why they can't film it in an English fucking forest though, away from everybody, and actually try keep it as
shove them up a mountain. That'll be
well.
Fun.
It's the travel basically. It's they wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, they have to quarantine. Then actually, I'm pretty sure all the celebs that are going to be in it now are probably in their bubble now. Because
they will be
in their own little bubble now, like they did last year. But I'm really excited and looking forward to it. It's the only reality, as I said, that I watch and I look forward to it every year. And Cheryl now is a fan, so that's good. Love it. I really do. I love watching celebrities suffer. Well, they call themselves celebrities, but they're not really.
I can't watch it because it's full of celebrities, which makes me suffer.
So did you see they put a Cyberman picture up on Twitter? So the Cybermen must be in tomorrow's episode then.
Well, no, weren't they in the trailer, you guys saying? Didn't you guys say they were in the trailer? Because I never watched the next time trailers. But I'm sure you guys said.
I think they were in the show. I wasn't really paying it because they ruined the ending, like at the first few seconds of this is what's on next week.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's perfectly fine. Yay.
Yeah, now you've ruined it, you fucking morons. You're supposed to keep fans on the edge of their seat. Even the ones who actually like this era, for God's sake. Now they know that the plank survives. What's the point? Last week I was thought she'd die. I wanted your man to break her neck. The character, not the actress. The character.
Describe it, people. Yeah, no, did say they were in the trailer, so they've not. So that it makes sense they'd put a picture just to basically shout at people, please watch, we have Cybermen this week.
And this is the thing. Lee showed me some of the responses to these little shippers when, oh, Christian, you better not dare. If you do, gonna hunt you down. You won't do that, you little weak-minded little.
They were threatening to kill him.
Yeah.
if he killed Jazz.
Well, look, I've been told she's going to be stuck in the bubble universe, but I'd be so happy if he just kills her off. then that'll put to bed all of these stupid fucking rumors by the Radio Times. By the way, Radio Times, just to let you know, no, Dan is not going to be in the new era of Doctor Who, and neither is Yaz the Plank. And I don't know why you are actually, doing stupid articles on this. It's not happening. It's a fresh start, clean slate. And, I do like John Bishop. But if Mandeep Gill was to be in Series 14 under RTD, nobody's going to watch. She's one of the worst characters that was ever brought on this show. She's worse than Adric. So Adric doesn't have that. So Matthew Waterhouse, you can actually celebrate now. You aren't the worst character in Doctor Who anymore. You've been, seriously, man, compared to Yaz the Plank, you are Oscar-worthy acting there, right? So give yourself a pat on the back, mate. Finally, you ain't the most hated character in Doctor Who. That must please him. Seriously, man. Radio Times. They've got nothing better to do.
Oh, did you see the latest one that they interviewed the actress who was Dan's mum, and she's come out with, "Oh, Jodie's paved the way for the next Doctor."
Oh yeah, I said paved over the next Doctor.
No, but in typical Radio Times fashion, they use that to basically say, "Look, guys, the next Doctor is going to be as diverse as Jodie."
And I don't know what if the next Doctor is as diverse as Jodie. Once they can act and they have a screen presence and, they can actually fucking act. That's the main thing. You need to be able to act. And unfortunately, Jodie Whittaker cannot act when it comes to Doctor Who. She just not good enough.
It just made me laugh. Because they used that as such a clickbait title, and when you actually looked at who they were interviewing, it was the actress who was Dan's mum. So it's like, so she won't, like, the way they phrased it was like, oh, it's going to be a dead cert, and it was like, no, you've just got some actress to say the PC line of, she's made it possible for anybody now.
Well, she's ruined it for any other woman to take over the role, in my opinion, so I don't know where they're getting that fucking from.
Oh, that's it. Massage his thigh. That's going to help.
That's it, yeah. Get that old...
Get in there. Get in there, Ian. Go on.
Yeah.
Give that a good rubbing.
That's it, Ian. That's it. Squeeze that knee there, Ian. It looks like a knobby knee anyway. Look, he's got knobby knees.
Knobbly knees. Knobbly knees need 7 C's. Pure cod liver oil tablets.
So I'm gonna have my second roast chicken of the week.
Oh, I had some breaded chicken breast today.
Oh, I do like the breaded chicken, I have to say, as well. Especially if you get real nice breaded chicken. Tesco actually do really nice.
No, I did it myself.
Oh, you made your own?
Yeah.
Nice one. Nice one. Well done.
I put some grated cheese in with bread,
Oh,
crumbs.
nice.
I made my own bread, so I used what was left of it because it was stale.
Wow.
And yeah, it's all right. It's not bad.
Maybe we should
Bit
have
lemon juice.
bacon with Problem Being on his channel.
Yeah.
Show us how to bake some bread. Well, I do know how to bake bread myself, but it's a pain.
I made a wholemeal loaf.
Can be a pain in the ass, though. Do you make it now from proper scratch yourself, or do you buy the oglums or the ready-made, like where you just add?
No, I had some wholemeal flour. I had some dry yeast.
Oh, nice. So you made it from scratch. Nice. Yeah. There's nothing better than freshly baked bread, especially when it comes out of the oven, and the smell around your place when you...
Wholemeal didn't give me the same smell as a white loaf, so I think I'll make a white loaf next time. For some reason,
yeah,
it doesn't.
Bread is supposed to be bad for you, but Jesus Christ, I eat a ton of bread. I actually have to cut down on bread. I eat too much fucking bread.
So he was actually about to rape Barbara?
Wow.
See, that's the interesting thing about classic series, because it can get away with such things, and it never kind of makes it that obvious.
It's a bit more sort of innocently portrayed. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like Edith in the Vikings and
what
the
they
Time
do
Meddler.
is they kind of the way they frame the scene, he's gonna do something bad, but they don't actually show it. So they just put it out there that
it's a lot of it's implied working classic. They don't come out and say or have certain dialogue which is basically pointing to it. They just do enough that makes you make that conclusion.
Don't tell me Wayne Rooney's been sacked. Okay, so the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer is dropping in 3 days' time officially.
So it'll finally put to bed who's in it at least.
In fairness, I'm looking forward to the Morbius movie a little bit more, but if this Spider-Man trailer can actually deliver, I'll give it a go. I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan anyway, to be quite honest. And as I said, this is controversial. I said it the other day, I kind of got a bit of stick for it, but the Tobey Maguire movies are the better movies out of all the movies that they've made, actually.
The first two, it's the third one where it all goes to pot.
Yeah, the third one where it all falls apart, yeah. But I did like Andrew Garfield's first one, and I didn't like the way they treated him. So if he is coming back, and Tobey Maguire along with Tom Holland, I think it will be a pretty good movie. But I think that's what fans are waiting on now, to see this trailer, to see if they'll actually finally, because as you know, for months and months now, there's been rumors and so-called leaked photographs on set of the two of them, and the two actors have denied that they're actually in the movie. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll find out now in 3 days' time. Well, that's if Sony show them in the trailer, of course.
I would be surprised if they show one and hide the other.
But you know what? They'll be on a bit of a roll, because if Ghostbusters Afterlife does well, remember that's from Sony, and Sony been getting stick over the last few years. If they get the Ghostbusters movie right, then I think people will start to believe that maybe Sony will start learning lessons. And then if the Spider-Man movie ends up being good as well, then to me, Sony are on the up again. But they need to keep it up, you know? But remember, they've already retconned the 2016 movie in Ghostbusters Afterlife anyway, because there's a line in it. They literally retcon it in one line. Paul Rudd's character goes, there hasn't been a ghost site in 30 years. So basically retconned.
Yeah, and I think I think that's a sign of, if some of these franchises going forward are going to make some changes, that's the way they'll do it. They won't come out and say they're doing it. They'll do it in a line. They'll do it almost sneakily. And that's what that comes across, the way they're doing it with the Ghostbusters. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what Russell does. That he doesn't physically make a big song and dance about it. He just either acts like something's never happened, or he just has a line to make the current mess go, lessen it or make. That's what I think companies are going to do, because we've all said this, they're never going to fully admit their mistakes.
No, they never
going to happen. So we're going to have to just accept that as fan bases. So
do
it's
you want to hear something funny? Scottish government put tampons in male toilets.
of course they did.
It's real, by the way. It's.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand that. To be quite honest with you,
I've lost the plot.
I mean, I'm trying to make sense of it, but there's no.
It's for the 0.02% of the population of biological women who identify as being male. So they will go and have their periods and things, but they will be in the men's loo.
Yeah, but
Don't try and make sense of it, no. Do not try and make sense of it.
please give me a time machine. I want to go back to the 80s where it was a simpler time. Yes, we had the threat of war over us, but it was such a good time to be alive. Doctor, where are you? Get the fucking TARDIS in here now, will you? I'm going to take a few people with me. Who wants to come with me to the 80s?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's do it, folks. I'm getting out.
Like, you guys, you could be my guides. Because I'm the baby of the group.
Trust me, man. If you could actually go back to the 80s, I'm telling you now, you would know why we go on about the 80s and 90s so much. It was a fantastic time to be a teenager, to be a kid, to be an adult. It was like, as I said, we had different threats around the world, but it was such an innocent time as well at the same. I know it's a bit of a contradiction, but it was an innocent time. People were much nicer to each other as well.
Oh yeah, I can definitely believe that.
You could leave your fucking front door open back in the day. Go and do your fucking shopping and come back and nothing in your.
And kids used to go out and play outside.
Yeah.
Actually outside.
Yeah, they don't now. It's video games, isn't it? I do it myself now, but when I was a kid, I was out all the time. My dad would not allow us to stay in. Especially if it was a nice day. It would go on out, get out.
Back till it's dark.
Hell yeah, man.
Don't, I might cry. So I see memery factories in Jay's stream, not Bowles Trek stream, kicking off about Bowles Trek and you. So I think we should keep him blocked from now on. Oh shit.
He's just gone mad because I won't bring him on the channel to give him a platform so he can act the bollocks, like, because I called him out straight and said, I wouldn't trust you as far as I try. You're not coming on this channel. And I mean that, you know. He's a hypocrite, and he just, you know, he's just one of these people that likes to cause problems. So, you know, if he actually behaved himself and acted like a decent fucking human being, nobody would have a problem with him. But he doesn't.
There's something not right going on there, isn't there? Something must have happened to you, like, I don't know, fallen on his head or something as a kid.
Are you in the chat?
No, I'm on Bowles Tracks, just keeping an eye on the chat, but I've obviously can't hear what's being said.
Yeah, same here. Oh, they brought up the titles of his videos now.
Yeah. But the stark difference between the chat in Bowles Tracks is very nice. Everyone's really polite and stuff. But you go on like Jay's, it's just like people just going on Bowles Track this, Bowles Track that. Neat. It's just pathetic. Anyone who thinks diversity is limiting to talent is showing their racism and bigotry. Oh God.
That's not true either. No. See, these kids miss the point completely.
Diversity exists. Fandom is diversity bad, so woke. Please.
I don't even know why they're going on about the Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace is wrecked now at the moment. You know, people are falling out with each other right now.
The fact that you are a white male does not inherently make you question diversity on screen, as Ball suggests. I mean, so these people are just like,
but why
do
did
not
they
question the
Why do
dogma.
they bring skin color into it? Why is it they always have to bring skin color into it? So what if Ballstreck is white? Right? He has every right to
I don't know what he said because I can't hear what's going on.
It's fucking ridiculous. Like.
Captain Jack is a cis male.
Actually, is Ballstreck gone? I think he is gone.
Right? No, I don't think so.
Well, he's not on screen.
Well, you're on Jay's one. I think there's slightly different setup. So I think you can hear him there, but you can't see him there. Honestly, the immaturity of the people in that chat is just unbelievable. Contrast that with the people in Ballstreck's chat. Everyone's just sort of talking sense. Not overreacting like, oh my God!
Someone just wrote it in the chat there. People are coming after Ballstreck here, but what he is saying is perfectly reasonable. Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it is, but they don't like it because he's coming out and saying these things. So
they're questioning the dogma. He's questioning the dogma.
All right. So these people need to get a grip. Go in and check Ballstreck's version of the stream.
Or at least someone understands, you know, it's reasonable.
Of course it is. Look, Ballstreck isn't what people... I know this man. I talk to this man behind the scenes. This man has been a huge help to me. If I thought for 1 second that he was all of these things, I'd have nothing to do with him, right? But he's not, right? He explains everything perfectly. Actually, he always explains himself. And he's also said, anyway, that his Doctor Who reviews, anyway, he's not taking them seriously anymore because he just has, you know, right now, he's just fallen out in love with the show, and that happens. But he shouldn't be criticised for it. He's entitled to his opinions. People keep forgetting that it's all about opinion. Yeah, well, sure, look who's in the chat in Ballstreck. So you got Sadako in there. You've got Darren Bradley. Derek McManus. You've got all the people that usually do be here and support Ballstreck anyway. That's why the chat is much nicer. But they could see that he's not... Look, Ballstreck wouldn't have the support he has if he was all those things. That's all I'm trying to say.
I know it's like a couple of weeks ago, Dan from the Space Book got an absolute character assassination.
I know.
And it was just like, he's the most chill. Like, yes, he has his opinion and he's very strong about them, but he doesn't like drama. He's really lovely. He's so, like, chill. He's the nicest bloke. And he got an absolute nutter try and take away his Facebook group and try and make him out to be something he completely isn't.
I want that little moron that tried that is a moron. And I've seen as well someone wrote up a tweet yesterday, something about being a predator and stuff like that to Dan. And I was like, what the is going on in this fandom? They're absolutely sick people. Anyway, Charlotte, go ahead because we will get these last 2 episodes done actually. So this is the second last one, isn't it? Am I right?
Yeah.
So episode
part 5.
Yeah.
Right. So if everybody in the chat, remember, guys. So I don't have to keep asking, but I have to keep asking because nobody can press one.
We'll get about 6 or 7 from Daniel.
One.
One.
It's from Barcelona.
Juan. Press one.
It's from Barcelona.
We got one.
Oh, you nearly killed me there, Lee.
Wasn't my intention.
Right, we got ones. Go for their page.
When I can speak. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Ugh.
The way she did that real fast because she wants to cough. Go and cough away, love. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, me misogyny there. I shouldn't have called you love. Apparently, it's offensive. I apologize there, love. Oh, I did it again. Sorry, love. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't help myself, love. Imagine people got mad at Rod Stewart because he called people love and darling. What the fuck is going on with this?
When you told me, because I was like, had these people never been up north? It's like hello up north to say love. It's like part of just everyday language now up here. See, and this is what's crazy about this story. Now we're basically going to have like a courtroom drama for the last, like a proper, like, the doctor's like even a bit of an investigator policeman, and then he's like a lawyer. Like, this is the craziness of this story.
It's the strangest things that keeps going on in this island that keeps the story going.
Well, there's like constant mystery in this story, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it just sort of shifts a bit every couple of episodes. At first it was like, oh, what's going on with like this really like lavish place when we've just been in like a desolate acid planet, and then you work out what's going there, and now you're going into sort of this city system and sort of the corruption there and what's going on.
I'm just looking at some of these comments. So fucking funny. Someone says, I like Ballstrek, he should keep the name and not rebrand.
Yeah.
It's funny, Al Memory is in there shit storing. He goes, Ballstrek is talking out his backside. He's only in there to store shit and turn people against him. He's one pathetic little loser. I feel like actually going in and saying, you are a pathetic little loser trying to store it.
No, just keep out.
I wouldn't give him the satisfaction.
Don't, because then it'll just take over the chat. You know,
it'll turn it. Oh, look at me! I'm being attacked. So don't.
Yeah.
Just let him make himself look ridiculous.
He ever shows up on my chat again, moderators, I want them removed, and any other account then he tries to use. Okay?
Because also that the clever thing about this story is it is a bit of a fetch quest. Like they're sort of looking for these keys all throughout it, and it doesn't feel sort of like a fetch quest because there's so many other things going on.
I wonder if Baldrick is aware that he has super chats.
Surely does.
Well, I've just sent him a message because I forgot I'm a moderator on his channel as well. He's a doctor. No disturbances. The glass factories in the desert. Built this city, do do do. Built this city.
I have to agree with you, my boy.
Oh my God, Mr. Cardis has showed up in the chat. Of course he has.
Naturally.
Of course he has. Hasn't got the balls to actually debate Baldrick either, but will come in someone else's chat now and throw in his stupid, dumb comments. One day, mate, one day, you'll have your comeuppance in this fandom for all the evil stuff you've done and the division you've caused.
And I don't know if you guys get the impression I do that Bill was having so much fun at the sort of the courtroom stuff. He just has this air about him that he's really enjoying sort of standing there and giving these sort of speeches.
Some people are turning on TARDIS in the chat.
Yeah, let them turn on him. He deserves to be turned on. So apparently nobody is willing to debate Mr. TARDIS. It's the opposite, because I called him out and I actually basically said, look, Mr. TARDIS, guy who blocks anybody he doesn't agree with.
I just put in there, has Mr. TARDIS actually watched the rest of Classic Who yet?
Oh, I love it. I love it, man. If I could like your comment, man, I would. Yeah.
All right.
Someone wrote Jimmy Savile is the scariest Doctor Who monster. Do me a favor, remove that comment, please, from the chat. I don't want any mention of that man in this chat, please. Thank you.
I was going to say, I'm amazed you're still allowed to be in that chat. Like, see how long that lasts.
Someone called me a man-child, right? And I said, the person, was that an insult? LOL, my dog could come up with a more original insult. Right. Like, they're arguing because Baltrek is saying that it's forced diversity, and it's an actual fact, you know? But these people are so blinded by their own agenda. By their
it's
own.
usually all middle-class white kids who want to patronize people of color and the LGBT people, and it's like they can't see it because they're so involved in it, you know, by the sort of cultural Marxism in which we live in, and it is racist and it is patronizing and it is tokenistic, and you know, too bad if they don't like that, but that's the truth of the matter. And you know, a lot of people who see through this, who are LGBT or black or Asian or whatever, will say the same thing. You know, that it's like, this is not what we signed up for. You know, like, and a lot of people look to British TV and want it to be British, and you know, and that does include LGBT and non-white people as well. But you've got to put it in a cultural context, and if you engineer and contrive something that's overtly like putting black people in Victorian England is a complete distortion of historical facts. And I think if you're doing it purely to tick boxes, then you're presenting a false history. And Doctor Who has a requirement really to represent things at least honestly. You know, I mean, I know it's a science fiction context, but you know, you can't present the world that you want it to be or history as you want it to be. That's not how it works.
Yeah. You know. Someone wrote in the chat, get Mr. TARDIS on. Sure, he won't go on. He's a pussy.
Yeah. But also, Lee, just to add to what you were saying, it's even more sort of silly when it comes to Doctor Who, because you have the future. You have episodes which can be set in the future, can be set on different planets. So it's not like the structure of the show means you can go crazy in certain episodes or certain time period. You know, in those things, of course, you would get a lot more different looks and different types of people. It would make sense there. But then to force it in the historical stuff, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And when it's so blatant, like you said.
Well, it just makes a laughing stock out of the actual historical struggles that certain people, certain groups of people went through. You know, you're raising that. And I just think it's not honest. You know, it's really not honest. And they're using groups of people as a shield to criticism, which is duplicitous. It's manipulative, and you're not focusing on, like Terrence Dick said, if you're focusing on the politics, you're not looking at the right aims.
Oh yeah,
and that's true.
And that's just like we've all said. Like, look at Classic. The thing that certain parts of the fandom will tell you is incredibly non-diverse and doesn't have all the shiny new things that the new era does. Like Classic does it as well. It's just obviously because it in the time period it was made, it would still be majority white on screen. But like we said, like there's plenty of women characters. We've got Barbara, we've got Susan later on. Some of the later stories, she's quite active and quite willing and quite brave. And then
crushing Jay, because they're bringing up the diversity stuff. Crush him. He won't crush nothing. Fucking idiots.
But it's like even classic. If it was like set in a space center or like anything where you would have like big people manning it. Do you know what they did in classic? The thing that gets bashed a lot. There was always a couple of crew members that were non-white. Even in classic, like early classic, they were doing that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact you need to put percentage numbers in. I mean, how is that not disturbing to people? Like, you must have this percentage of women, you must have this percentage of black people, you must have this percentage of Asian, this percent of disability. Like,
it's not natural. That's the problem. Like, if you give writers the natural,
it's the death of art, because you're enforcing a political agenda on something which should be a creative process. Yes, of course, you want to represent all walks of life in the UK as it is. But by mandating it, you're sort of it's very draconian, isn't it?
Well,
I mean,
it's not that it's draconian. Well, it is, but I think the problem is when in some of the modern crop of writers, if you tell them, right, you have to have a character of a certain gender, race, insert whatever you want to there, because it applies, I think, to most of them. Then some of the current crop, that's all they can focus on. Except from if you just have a character written that isn't specific to those traits, but you do an audition process, and somebody just happens from those groups to be the best for the job, then you've got a rounded, well-written character with depth. And you've got, if you want to use that word, representation, because the best actor for the job that day was part of those groups.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, that's the thing with like some of the more modern stuff. It's so clear that all they've got in their head is, I need to show this character has X, Y, and Z. Instead from, it's like, I'm trying to like there's so many characters that from classic and new that you could talk ages about their character and you wouldn't have to bring up that they were female or that they were non-white or that, you know.
It's kind of focusing so hard on the issue, and especially when you have something like a time traveling show, right? And you have to have a certain amount of representation. You can't do that because the history isn't like that. You see what I mean? You show Victorian London and you actually write to the script that London's always been more diverse. No, it wasn't. That's a lie. You're lying to your audience. It's intellectually dishonest. And I think that by mandating this kind of thing, you're creating unrealistic problems, unrealistic issues, and unrealistic expectations. And you're pampering your audience into a fantasy. And I think we've got enough problems with people living in a fantasy today than at any other time in history, recorded history that I know of anyway. But it's...
But that's the thing, you're basically doing a doctored take on history. Which, like you said, it's not the true history. And obviously this is a show, and we understand that it's written as an entertainment show, so there's going to be some creative license. There's going to be some history which they are naturally just going to change a bit, because that's how humans work, that's how writers work. But like you're saying, when it's done so overtly, and I think that's what we've all said, we're not against this stuff, we're against when it takes over and then you're not giving us good stories or characters anymore.
Well, it's not only just you force a specific representation. You're also representing characters in an unrealistic light as well, especially historical figures. And like the situation with Mary C. Cole, for example, was a misrepresentation of history. All in order to tick the box and to write the character. I mean, they could have focused on someone like Florence Nightingale, which would have made more sense.
Yeah, but
they
never
didn't do that because of political reasons, because of representing a historical character that in academia has been falsely inflated to be something she was not. Because of that, and because it was represented on horrible histories and in schools, and it's pushed by the postmodern agenda, the critical theory, it's creating a false impression of history and a false impression of historical figures, and that's an abomination.
Yeah, the thing he's a small. I'm just had to listening to a couple of minutes there. Have to say he's a smug little, and he's putting Ballstreck even call him out. He's putting words into Ballstreck's mouth and all. This lad is just an absolute disgrace, man.
Well, that's this is what this will do. This will expose the logical fallacies. I don't know what Chris is doing, but I've seen some people saying he's not standing up for himself enough. I don't know, so I'm not listening to it, but I hope he is redressing that. But I mean, it's difficult when you're on the spot because
Well, obviously he's come prepared. Jay has, and this was designed. I'm telling you, this is why he waited so long. All these excuses that he had a funeral and all to go to was an excuse. He was obviously getting stuff together to try and
do the gotcha.
Yeah, and
but that that kind of duplicity will expose him just as much as he's trying to expose Ballstreck.
So anytime he's trying to bait and Ballstreck is saying, look, we agree to disagree, and then obviously his supporters in the chat, oh yeah, great comeback, Ballstreck. Well, yeah, it's the only comeback that he can give because he's not getting through to the guy. The guy just keeps coming up with an answer with everything that Ballstreck has to say. So Ballstreck is trying to navigate his way actually through this, but I don't know, man. I don't see the sense in trying to explain yourself to these idiots. Let them think what they want. That's the way I look at it. I don't know. It's just the smugness of the other fella. It's like, oh, if I've misrepresented you in any way, please speak up. Like, you're misrepresenting him, right? You're just an arrogant little. I'll leave it there. I'm not going to say any more. Well, get your wands in. Get your wands in, folks. We're coming to the end now. We're coming to the end. We'll be finished and all by 20 to 10. Then we'll get the reviews in, and then that'll be it.
Done well, considering this 6 parts.
We did do well. We did do well. We did. Right, let's
managed it.
Let's keep this show on the road. Get your wands in, dudes. Get those ones in. Now, Now get the ones in. Get the ones in. Come on. No, did I ask you to play yet? I didn't. So why are you playing? Right? I'm the one that's in control. Yeah? So when I say press play, you press second play. Second idiot. Right, talking to myself there.
Actually.
Right, let's do it. Charlotte, go ahead. Final countdown of the night, love.
Yep, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
I love that phone. I want one.
It looks like a I don't know, a hair curler or something.
Yeah, or a microphone.
Like the older ones you would get.
Mm.
Oh, he's quitting the stream. He is. Apparently, he's got a banging headache and he has to stop the stream.
Oh, please.
He's not feeling well now. All of a sudden.
Dear. Oh.
Excuse me.
No, I think the reason why he's ending it is because, you know, maybe Balstrek was getting somewhere and didn't want him to. So
yeah, more than likely.
Like he won the argument and all of this.
Yeah, last word or something, maybe.
Yeah.
Sophie Lowe goes, Jay has gotten too deep. He's bailing.
I quite like these two characters, considering at the beginning, like, they were almost antagonists, and like they're properly becoming, like, at this point, a part of the team for the end bit. I quite like that. I mean, they're only side characters, really, but you can sort of see they have a bit of a journey in this story as well.
It's funny because Balstrek stopped his stream, but Jay's still going on. Like, I thought you had a headache, mate.
Yeah, he's reading out the super chats apparently. See how long he goes on for.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter anyway. My advice to Balstrek would be now don't engage with these people anymore. Just let them rot. Let them have their opinions. Let them say what they want to say. Just ignore them from now on. Because you can't you can't talk logical sense to people like Jay or Mr. Tardis or any of those other people. They're so caught up in their own ideology and their own fucking agendas that they can't see that they're wrong. Well, it says Ballstrek is still live here, but then the stream's not coming up.
No, it's
Oh, that could be YouTube. Sometimes when you've stopped a stream, it will
Alright.
still say you're live. That's happened a few times when I think it's on yours a few times. I've gone, what? No, still live. And I've looked and you've stopped the stream.
Oh, but Lee just got called out. And Memory Factory, I think you should have pushed him more. Shut the fuck up, you shit-stored little fool.
And there you go. Barbara's caught the slip.
Shit, did I miss the bit where Ballstrek left? Well, he only left because he's the host of the channel. All of a sudden came down with a mysterious illness. Right? So shut the fuck up again. You know what? You could spin whatever. Yous are all a bunch of morons and always will be morons. Right? And then you're taking advice off people like Mr. Tardis who hasn't even seen the whole of Classic era, but yet then tries to educate fans in this fandom, especially long-term fans, about how they're wrong. Shut up. And by the way, just to let you know, any of the supporters of Mr. Tard, I've invited him on my channel several times, and also people have asked him to bring him on, and he's refused every single time, right? And he'd probably get an easier ride with me than he would with Ballstrek, but yeah, he won't come on because he's a yellow belly shill. He's a chicken, a gutless, weak-minded fool who will never amount to anything. He thinks he's talented. He hasn't got talent. I've got more talent in me balls than he does in his whole head. Right, mods, you know what to do. Remember what I told you. Sick of this fandom I am. You don't have to agree with people's opinions, but to actually like make a big drama out of it. I'd like to speak to Oh, he's actually I think he's limited his stream now, so he'll probably go and edit it out to make himself look like that he won the argument. People are texting me, did you see what happened at the end of the stream? Well, I was keeping an eye on the stream while I was streaming here myself, because Ballstrek is a friend and I know what the man is really like, and all of these false accusations against him are absolutely disgusting. Yeah, very weird that it ended abruptly like that. By the way, do you know that Doctor Who production news site that is a fan channel? They came out and accused David Tennant of only doing Big Finish because his wife got a job at Big Finish. For anybody
He got work first there.
That's exactly what the point we've all made. Well, clearly you're clueless and uneducated because David Tennant was doing Big Finish before he even got the role of the Doctor. He's in audios. And how disingenuous or scummy to say that he only did Big Finish because his wife was doing Big Finish. This is what we have to deal with in the fandom. Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, I just find that so funny. Yeah, David Tennant, the most popular modern day Doctor, the one that got the highest ratings, the one that it was like the show's dead because he's leaving. I can't remember what the fandom was like.
Mhm.
But no, he only got a job because of his wife. Okay.
Oh,
These
apparently
kids don't know anything.
down live again. Well, if he is, I want an invite to that stage. So hold on, I'm going to text him now. It's lucky that we're nearly over now, isn't it?
Mm. So what, he's doing a new stream?
Apparently, according to Unknown 289, yeah.
When's that?
I think it's now. I don't know. I'm gonna send them a message now.
I'll see what's happening on Twitter.
I'll text them on Twitter, yeah.
Oh, he says he was asking, do you want to do a short stream? I need to punch something. He said.
Well, tell them that I'm at to send them a message and I would like to be part of that stream too. Like, if you're talking to him, obviously you're talking in that chat that I left. Now I feel like I'm missing out. But I just needed to get away from all the drama for a while. And I think you understand that anyway, because you've been very good about it. But I just needed to get out there for a while because it was affecting my mental health, just seeing these morons continuously attack us and the shit that they were saying. But yeah, tell them I'm willing to join. And nobody is rushing off here, right? We get the reviews in and then we leave, right? I want to make that clear. So as soon as this is over, we're literally going to fly through the videos, lads, and we're having unfortunately, he did win. This is not about winning. What are you talking about winning for? He didn't defend his views very well, I'm afraid. I agree with Ballstreck on most things. Well, look, we've seen bits of the stream. But the thing is, the fact that people think that Ballstreck needs to defend his opinions in the first place. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. This was the fella and other people that got their noses out of joint that basically wanted explanations to these things. And in fairness, Ballstreck didn't even have to do this stream. So to be quite honest with you, from what I've heard is Ballstreck was listening to what you were saying, and your man was coming across as very condescending and has a bit of an ego trip and was very sarcastic as well. He's a very sarcastic person, the J one is. So why should Ballstreck, try and defend himself when you got a smart arse host that's has an answer for everything that he's got to say? No, that's not how it works. It wasn't a proper debate anyway, because if it was a proper debate, it would have been moderated by someone else, and the two of them could have had it out then that way. But no, it wasn't framed that way. So for those things to work, you need a moderator. If you've got a host on a channel, basically, who already has a skewed opinion of Ballstreck, well, Ballstreck was hardly going to get anywhere in that stream anyway, but he would have got some points across. But Ballstreck shouldn't have to explain himself to anybody. Just like Jay shouldn't have to explain himself to everybody. But this is what's happened in the fandom. People have opposing opinions and you're being called out for them, right? This stream shouldn't even happen. It's actually dumb and stupid, in my opinion. Right. And they don't realise the kind of damage that they're doing to people's mental health in this fandom anyway. So look, at the end of the day, Bolstrick, I did hear him saying agree to disagree and stuff like that. That's because he could see that this fellow was just being sarcastic, and anything that Bolstrick was going to say was going to be countered with a counter argument by him that it doesn't even hold up. I've watched the stream. You can put up a graph all you like and say 48, they've only reached 48% of their targets. That's actually not true, because if you break it down, before they brought in June Spark, wherever her name is, that worked with Jesse Ventura, they'd already reached their goals, but they changed the goalposts yet again. See, these kids don't actually really do.
What are you doing, dear boy? Frightened the life out of me.
Yeah, Bolstrick's going for a bit of a walk first before he starts his stream. See, this is what people like Jay do. They don't realise, man. Like, he came on to try and explain himself, and all he did was be a smart arse for the whole fucking stream and be sarcastic. Oh, I disagree, and that's good enough. That's a great valid argument there is. When Bolstrick tried to explain stuff, oh, I disagree with you. That's not an argument. Doesn't matter anyway. It's all bullshit at the end of the day. Yeah, that's her. She's the diversity chief now or something, and she's getting paid huge sums of money.
Yeah, but wasn't she also the woman, or was it another BBC employee who said Luther wasn't black enough as a character?
That was her.
That was her, wasn't it? I remember that grain of genius. It's like, I'm sorry, I think Idris Elba will disagree with you there, love. And like, she literally came out with, well, it's because he doesn't eat Caribbean food. And like the most stereotypical stuff. And that's your diversity chief coming out with this.
Well, how could Bolstrick back up his diversity points very well when Jay was interrupting him every 2 seconds? I watched a bit of the stream, and when it came to that point, Jay just kept interrupting him. How is Bolstrick supposed to get a proper response across when he's being
Apparently the Hobo Holmes channel was in the chat urging Jay to call Bolstrick a bigot. It's not very helpful, really, is it? When you've got these. I mean, I saw that chat and got the contrast between Bolstrick's chat and Jay's chat. It was so hostile and full of just hyperbole and like, over the top in Jay's chat. But you see the people on Bolstrick's chat, they're all having sort of good arguments and talking civilly and agreeing to disagree in certain things, and it was all very civil. But it just shows you this generational change. These hyper polarized kids on today are just so extreme with their rantings, and it's like if you're not left of Marx, there's something wrong with you. It's just ridiculous. They're speaking from absolute ignorance half the time because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're just repeating what they've been told, parrot fashion. Ay.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as Mr. Tardis showed up in the chat and another, I've just been sent a message there, then the whole tone of the chat changed.
Yeah.
Right? Because obviously trying to impress people. And all this. Get away.
Oh, he's such a twat. I mean, I as I said,
Anyway, if it had been me, right, and this is just me, and if Bolstrick, if I was giving him advice, I would have told him not to go on this stream in the first fucking place. There was no need for Bolstrek to go on and explain himself to these people. Who do they think they are? They don't police this fandom.
Well, that's why he did it on his channel as well. So it wasn't, him going there and being, it was playing to both their audiences, which is fair enough.
I agree to that extent, but again, the whole thing that he has to go on and explain himself in the first place baffles fucking me. Right? He shouldn't have to explain himself. They're his opinions. If you don't like his opinions, fine, jog on.
Well, the point was is that
content,
if they were interested to know what he was actually saying, why didn't you ask to speak to him in the first place? That this was only a response to the fact that
I know
they didn't do that. I think that's
you did on him, yeah, exactly. Of course, you've got the other gobshite, Mr. Tardis, again, recently calling out neurotic and all. He's a sad little individual.
There were plenty of people in the chat who didn't like him either, so that was all right.
Obviously, his channel is struggling that he needs to do these hit pieces.
Well, I mean, it's been at 20,000 for 5 years or something. I don't know. I mean, he gets about 70 people in his chat, a push.
I don't care how many views or anything they get or how many subscribers they have. I just hate the disingenuous nature of them all. And they are disingenuous, So that's my problem. I wish they'd stop being disingenuous and trying to twist other people's words. And literally, Jay was trying to put words into Bolstrek's.
Yeah, well, that's their MO. That's what they did when he wasn't there. I mean, at least it was there to actually say, well, no.
And Bolstrek called that out. You're literally trying to put words in my mouth. Right? So, you know what I mean? If you're not going to have a fair debate and you're going to start putting words in people's mouths, why should Bolstrek then in the end take the fucking stream seriously? Bolstrek probably knew as soon as he got there, the first few minutes were all right because they were having a good debate, and then it turned into a bit of a mess then when certain people showed up. And Bolstrek probably tuned out and then just basically went, well, I'll agree to disagree, because there were people in the chat trying to wind up Jay to try call him out live on his stream. And if Jay hadn't done that, I would have, and I'm glad he actually didn't, but that would have been disgusting. But these are the type of people that they fucking, their audience are, call him out, go on, call him bigger, call him a white supremacist. Yeah, but you shouldn't even have to explain the diversity thing. It's there for everybody to see. It is forced, and I don't care what these people. I actually back up Bolstrek on this. It is forced. It is. They're not hiring on talent, right? They're hiring on gender and skin color. That's the bottom line, right? They even came out and said it themselves. That's the thing. When they brought out the inclusion and strategy fucking thing, they said it themselves. They lay in their garden, and that was it. So Bolstrek is not lying. He's telling the truth. I don't think it's all forced. We have no evidence that it's forced, if we're honest. That is a fair point. I'll give you that. But you just have to look, it is forced. It is. You compare it to the RTD era, the way he did things, to the way Chibnall does it. I mean, he literally had a gay character in one of the Dalek specials that had a 20-second scene come out and went, hell yeah, I've got a boyfriend at home. Exterminate! And was killed after 20 seconds. Right? So that's called hiring diversity and then not doing it properly. Right? Look at Captain Jack. Right? In LGBTQ plus characters, they call it nowadays. Right? Look at how he did Captain Jack, Jenny, Vastra, and all of those other characters that he had. Right?
Come on,
absolutely
Barbara.
Ridiculous. There's plenty of examples out there. Maybe Bolstrek didn't want to give like an example because he was put on the spot anyway. It's very hard to gather your thoughts when you're on a live stream trying to defend yourself from people that think you're an absolute bigot, right? It's hard. It's not easy. Right, is that it? We done?
Yep.
Yep.
Right. Let's get straight into the reviews. Before we do, is anybody
Sneeze.
in the chat? Do me a favor. Let's stop. I don't want to talk about what happened on the other stream now. Back to classic. Do me a favor. Give your rating for this story in the chat, please. And that would be absolutely fantastic. Now we're going to go with the panel, but we're going to start with Queen Charlotte because I know she heads off a little bit early. So we'll start with you, Queen Charlotte, if you want to give your thoughts and opinions on this week's story and also your rating.
Yeah, like I sort of, I quite enjoyed that this was a real mixed bag almost of stories. You sort of went from one thing to the other, but it worked. Like I said, you sort of have the planet, the sort of horror stuff with the plants at the beginning, and then tucked in that you had the sort of that whole idea of the mind manipulation and hallucinations, and then by the end it's a courtroom, and Ian's trying to say, and the doctor's defending him for his life. So it really feels like this is one of the sometimes we say, oh, that's a bad thing when you've got too many things, but this actually did it quite well. And performances were good as usual. The doctor, you saw him really step up to the plate to defend him, which is what I liked, considering they've been fighting and loggerheads for the last couple of stories. And it didn't feel like the pacing was good actually for a 6-parter. This is one of the 6-parters that flew by.
Yeah.
So
Great.
I'll give this a 7, I think.
You're giving it a 7?
Yep, 7.
Absolutely fantastic. We'll put you and Daniel's channel in the chat. But thanks for coming on. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. And we'll see you
me tomorrow. So have fun, everybody.
Yeah, we will. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's hope we're not all suffering from a fucking nervous breakdown. But,
we'll see.
We'll see.
Night.
Good night.
Right. Let's go with Real Super Doctor.
I think this is an interesting story. It breaks up the story from the whole 6 parts, and I think it's quite good. And it tells you it from a different standing point of view. I mean, you've got the companions, and they're all doing their bit anyway. And their mission is just to get the key of the TARDIS back, the lock of the TARDIS back, and just to get back and just to escape the island. And what's interesting is that they've got to go through all those tests, and basically it's testing every single one of them, and to find the complete keys of the Marinus. And in the end, it destroys the Vord, and when all the keys are all come together, and kind of frees the trapped occupants of the island. So I think I should give this about an 8 out of 10. Hartnell's as good as ever. I really enjoy the black and white episodes of Doctor Who, especially the 60s.
Fantastic. And problem being?
Yeah, it's a different energy from the previous stories. It's kind of like a precursor to The Chase, really, isn't it? You've got all these different settings and situations. I'm a bit distracted by what was going on today, so I wasn't fully engaged with the story as much, but I have watched it a few months ago. And I find, again, it's a lot of problems with pacing and a lot of issues over a certain number of episodes, I think, with stories like this as well. But I think it does kind of at least give you sort of change of scenery quite often. Obviously, 10 out of 10 for Aston. Is it Aston or Asta? Yeah, lovely legs.
You've got knees, for God's sake.
Well, you know, but eye candy doesn't go amiss. You know what I mean?
You like the old knobby knees, do you?
It didn't have knobbly knees. It didn't have very nice legs.
Oh,
very nice legs. Yeah, I mean, it's gosh, it's really hard, with everything that's been going on all at the same time. Yeah. So I couldn't really say, but I mean, it's been a while since I last saw it properly, a few months ago.
Same here, actually. It was a few
but
months.
I don't remember being overly enthusiastic. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So I'll give it a 6.5.
All right. Okay.
But 11 for the legs.
Okay. So remember, folks, he actually gave this a lower score than he did the first episode of Doctor Who Flux.
Don't I did have in mind. I did have in mind to rescore that down because
Well,
I did enjoy it because it was flashbang. And it was one episode done.
I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Of course, I was slightly distracted, but I have watched this a few months back. But it is a 6-parter that does kind of go by very quick. The Doctor again, as mentioned. Absolutely fantastic, and give a shout out to Ian and Barbara again. As usual, 2 of the best companions, I think. I would say they're up there as probably the best duo. Obviously, Jamie gets a lot of credit, obviously, but I like Ian and Barbara, so I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. So yeah, decent enough 6-parter. It wasn't by the end of it like, oh come on, I wish this was over. It was one of these ones where you were like, yeah, can I have some more, please? Like Oliver Twist, please, sir, can I have some more? So yeah, decent enough, I have to say. But again, I would say to people, if you're going to lecture fans in this fandom about Doctor Who, I suggest that you go back and watch some Classic Who first before you spout your mouth because you look like a bit of a tick. But we'll leave it there anyway. Join me tomorrow for my Doctor Who Flux watch along. I don't know now how I'm going to hold up for this one. I don't know. For the first 2 weeks, I was actually pretty excited. All of a sudden now, I'm not so excited, even though, just to let you all know, actually. So, obviously, the last 2 titles of the episodes were released, and it looks like that 4chan person was wrong about the name of the episodes. Now,
it's possible they could change.
Now, yes, that's what was.
I still think it's a load of shit, personally.
Yeah.
I still think it could even be worse, though. That's the thing. It could still be worse than.
But it was said to me that episode titles can change, and it can be weeks, even like days before the episode drops, they might change an episode title. So that doesn't necessarily mean we're 100% out of the woods. But like Lee, I tend to agree with Lee. I think these rumors from 4chan are designed to rile up fans, and I do think that's bullshit.
Yeah, I would think
so. I did breathe a sigh of relief when I saw the episode titles were wrong. But we'll look. Here's the thing: we will find out in the next couple of weeks anyway, and it should start from this week anyway. If he is up to something, we should get some indication by this episode. If not, he's leaving it to the last 2, which is even worse. But come and join me for the watch along tomorrow, and then straight after we have our Doctor Who panel. And we're going to be looking at, and will it be another heated panel? Will there be plenty of debate? Well, there's only one way to find out. That's hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Don't forget, especially subscribe button, so you don't miss. And hit that bell, that little notification bell, so you don't miss any video. Come and join me tomorrow. So we're out. I'm 100% sure that I'm going to be on Ballstreck's channel, and I'm pretty sure Lee is going to be there as well. So come and join us there for a little stream on Ballstreck's channel. So look out for that. I'll share it on my Twitter account when it goes up. And we'll see you all in that chat. And we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Look after yourselves and all of that. And the panel is going to say goodbye to you now.
Goodbye to you now.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. We will see you soon. Thanks for joining us, folks. Really appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.